A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is powered by the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. We want to say thank you to some people, starting with our Diamond Executive Producer, Slimer Snar, our Platinum Producer, Robbie Bobby Miller, and then to our Gold level patrons like James Johnson, Ryan Turford, Egg Shen, Nasty Boots and Tammy, Joel Brooks, and Jonathan Brown. Thank you everyone for all of your support.
Well, the thing is like, I don't know whether to be annoyed or to be excited or...
Yeah.
People are actually posting pictures that they got their Animal Crossing Switch early.
Oh, really?
Apparently Amazon messed up and just started giving them out.
Come on.
I'm sorry, let me back up. Walmart messed up the release date and started issuing the pre-orders.
Classic Walmart, man.
And they're posting pictures all over Twitter, and I
love it.
And you see them opening them. And the funny thing is, like, I saw a couple of Animal Crossing Twitter news sites that were like, we're not going to release the names of these people because Nintendo will go after them.
Right.
Like they have in the past when the Switch released early and like the Smash game went out early, and they sued that one kid, the kid that actually like got the early copy of Smash and was like streaming it and posting it and doing all that stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But it turned out he stole the game. So but they...
How does this happen? Like, what exactly... Like, I want to be a fly on the wall where this actually takes place and this occurs. Like, who's stealing the things? Who, like, what truck is it in? What Fast and Furious, like, mission are people on to rob these shipping trucks or crates?
It's crazy.
Get them out there, man.
It's crazy. But
it's always somebody else who gets it too, right? Like, especially for, like, Walmart, it's like, it's not your Walmart. Who's going to do, like... Because are Walmarts open 24 hours where you're at?
Yes.
It's like, It's not everywhere though, right? And it was like this thing for the longest time for, like, there was always like one set of staff at one specific Walmart who opens the cage early.
Yeah.
Like, right? But never my Walmart. I've never got to experience
my
that.
Walmart always seems to know what's going on. It's the other Walmarts that don't know what's happening,
That's a good way to put
it's
it, man.
What is going
exactly
on?
Right.
I go in there and they're like, oh yeah. I remember when I went to my Walmart for the SNES Classic, and I went to a midnight launch.
Yep.
And like the line is like through the whole store, and they're like, "You guys gotta stay over here," and blah blah blah. And it's like, once midnight hit, though, here they come. But they literally made us wait until midnight. It was nuts.
I know, man.
But, man,
that's hilarious.
But the fact that like I'm only what am I now? Like, well, by the time whatever tomorrow this thing actually releases.
Yeah.
The physical Switch console comes out tomorrow, and I'm like, yes.
Where's your pre-order for? You probably have like 6
pre-orders. I have two. Yeah. I have one from Amazon. That's the one I'm giving away. And then I have one from Best Buy that I have to go pick up.
Yeah.
So I'll go pick up the one from Best Buy, and then the giveaway one is coming like, let's say they won't be here till the 17th. Which is whatever. Still, I could get it and ship it back out, no problem. But I'm so excited to get the new Switch and transfer it. And the thing is people were so upset at first. They're like, "Hey, you're not getting the game with it." And I was like, now in hindsight, I'm happy they didn't do that. Because
why? I was going to ask you about that. Why?
Well, because we get it a week earlier.
Sure.
In the UK,
I guess.
Yeah, like in the UK, they're getting the game with it, but they're not actually getting their console till the day that the game launches.
Well, but they could do like it comes with like the code, and then that's not active until it's like active on the store, and that's like anything else.
And that's what they are doing, but they just want to make sure that like it's whatever. You know, they're not trying to give the game out early. Is what it boils down to.
So what are you gonna do though when it comes? Like, are you switching everything over? Are you doing like a system you're playing with this Switch?
I'm playing with this Switch. This Switch will actually become my primary. Yeah. So the light that I have that's my primary is done. I'm not using it as my primary anymore.
Really?
This will be the one that I take out with me and go everywhere with.
Had you been gaming on the go or anything like that? Like, have you been using because my light is that's my main one because I play on the bus and everything. Like, I hardly play at home.
Only time is when I go to my mom's house. I'll take my light with me. And I'll play it, but now I'm like, I'll just take my regular Switch with me. I'll take my Animal Crossing one.
It's almost like it's portable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Weird.
It's weird how that
you can
works.
do both.
It's actually, to me, I think And I saw a girl this week. I was in an Animal Crossing Facebook group, and this girl was like, "What should I get? Should I get the Lite or should I get the regular?" And I'm like, "Listen, if it's your first console, I'm a true believer. The original Switch should be your first console."
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's the Lite is a fantastic secondary console, but it should never be your main console, in my opinion, because it's not like the original's not portable. People just act like
I know.
all of a sudden this thing's not portable, and it's like,
No.
it's like you can still take it with you.
And the thing is, like, if you play, like, even if you do play primarily handheld, and then all of a sudden you just dock it and play it on the TV, like, that's actually a really incredible experience to see the game that you're used to seeing on this tiny screen, like, blown up. Because, like, I was mostly playing Breath of the Wild handheld. Like, that was, like, at the time I had, like, a 45-minute to an hour bus ride.
Yeah.
Took forever, which meant I got 2 hours a day of Breath of the Wild just by on the bus. And so most of it was handheld. And then I put up on the TV, it's like, dude, like, it blows up so gorgeously. Like, oh, it's so great. Yeah, absolutely. So the first one should be, I think for us, like, Chelsea has the Animal Crossing one coming in from Best Buy. Yeah. And I think that's going to become her primary one.
Of course it is. Yeah.
And I think we're all just going to play on that one, Bobby.
That's the way.
I think that's like, we're all going to play Animal Crossing on that Switch. I think that's the only copy of Animal Crossing I think we're going to get. We'll have on her island, and then I'll do all the... You know what we can do is, like, I don't know exactly what it's going to be like, but I could terraform, like, my half.
Well, what you could do is, I mean, obviously this is only if she's not using it. But, like, you could, if she has a profile on your Switch, you could play that copy of that game with her profile. You just have to make sure that she's not playing at the same time, because then it would kick one of you off. You can't play with the same profile at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of stinks, but at the same time, like, that's how I plan on having multiple islands. You know, because I'll buy the game once, but it'll install on all the consoles, and every console will be an island. So I'll literally have 3 islands is what I'm going to use. One is going to be my main one that I stream, and that'll just be...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And then my second one, the one I have now, my big one right now, that'll just become one, like... I'm going to actually build a Saved by the Bell island, and it's going to be, like, themed after Saved by the Bell.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I just want to be... It's going to be...
Where does that idea come from?
It just hit me one day. You know what it did? It just hit me, man. I was like, I love Saved by the Bell. I love Zach Morris. I love all this stuff. I was like, I could have 8 characters, so I can have all the cast, AC Slater, Screech, and all them, have their own houses on the thing. Mr. Belding could be there, and that could be the school. And then I could make a character could be Max and have the Max. And then I could just build it. So that'll be my fun one that I design and build. After.
It's becoming... you just made everything so clear to me, because I wanted to ask you about, like, what happens in the mind of somebody who is, like, beyond hyped for Animal Crossing. Yeah. And that's it. That's exactly... It's the same type of mind who thinks back to a weird sitcom from, like, 35 years ago and wants to put that into Animal Crossing. I get it. That totally makes sense now.
And then my Switch Lite will be my Breaking Bad one, because I have Breaking Bells. I need to make a town based after Breaking Bad.
They're gonna be selling meth on your island?
Yeah, I have KK and Tom Nook doing what they do.
Damn, that's so good. What in the crap, dude?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's my whole process. What I'm doing.
Okay, so if I have, let me just back up the shot. On my Lite, which is where I'm going to be playing most of the time, if I put Chelsea's profile on there, even though her main, her like Animal Crossing Switch, the Switch, is her, like, where her primary console is. But if I just put her, like, account onto my Lite and I log in through that, I can just play Animal Crossing?
You should be able to. Yes, you should be able to.
On just a different island. Like a separate island.
It should be your own island. It should work.
Because, okay, so then the other side of it is,
well, actually...
Because I won't be connected to the internet.
No, it won't work, because it won't work for you in your particular case, because... I
would have to make mine the primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what you would have to do is that new Switch would have to be the account, the primary, and then, with me, because... I'm transferring consoles. I have 3 consoles, but the main profile is me, and the game will automatically download to these other consoles. It's similar to Splatoon. So like I have Splatoon on multiple consoles, right?
Right.
But when I fire up, I have to, wherever my main save data is, that's where everything is. But if I go fire up a secondary console, unless I transfer that save data over, it's a brand new fresh game. It starts over fresh. And that's similar to what this will be, except for we can't transfer save data at this moment. They're doing a workaround on that, so hopefully within a couple of months we'll be able to do that. But at this time, it'll be basically like if I fire up my big one, my old one, that'll be one town, and then the other one will be an island, and then my Switch Lite will be another island, and then my Animal Crossing one will be an island. So if Chelsea had multiple Switches, then yes, you would essentially be able to just grab that extra Switch. Because how many Switches do you have right now? 2?
We got 3. We've got my main Switch, we got my Lite, and then her main. This will be a 4th one with the Animal Crossing coming in, but we're not sure what we're gonna do about that. We might, I don't know, might trade it in or something like that.
Well, because I was gonna say, like, you could, I mean, technically, if you wanted to, you could have that backup one be just so you can play Animal Crossing on the go and experience it because I really think that this game, you gotta experience it by yourself. You know what I mean? Where you could build a fresh island all by yourself. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of, like, a family playing together. Like, I could really just see her and Lincoln just spending time playing together and really developing a relationship based around this game. And I love that idea, don't get me wrong. But I really believe that, like, man, if you just do this stuff where you can actually play by yourself and terraform and build this island yourself, that's where the game really can take off and for a single player and really get you that experience that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I wanted to ask you about you were doing something with your Animal Crossing cards the other night, and I don't know what's going on there. So this is where it's fun because I get to be a dum-dum about Animal Crossing. You get to teach me. Okay, so for last night or whatever, when I was streaming, I had basically I had a bunch of Amiibo cards. And I was just basically, I had bought a bunch off the internet to complete my collection. So I was getting them in order and making sure it was all there. But then I have a box filled with duplicates. Right.
Just like a boatload of duplicates. So
you bought these like way back in the New Leaf days or just after New Leaf?
Well, I started collecting them in the New Leaf days. Then I stopped.
And what did they do back then? Why have Animal Crossing cards? Okay,
so back then, there was 2 functionalities for it. Functionality 1 was you had the ability to, if you played Amiibo Festival, you could actually play this. Right. There was a game. Well, there was a game in that called Deserted Island or Deserted Island Escape or something like that. And what you would do is you would scan 3 cards in, and those characters would get stranded on a deserted island, and each one of them had different abilities. And then you would scavenge the island and try to build a raft together and escape the island. So that was number 1. Number 2 was
the game.
What's that?
So it's like Lost. So you're Jack and you're Sawyer and Charlie. Okay.
Yeah. And then
wait a minute, that's what I want to do with my Animal Crossing now. You have your that's amazing. We're on an island.
That's it.
Oh, there could be a smoke monster.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out. Oh,
that's how. Honestly, that's how it originally started with Saved by the Bell. If you remember the year that they went and worked at the beach club. And then I was like, I don't want to do this. Oh, it's amazing. They went and worked in the beach club, and like Stacy Carosi was Zach's love interest, and Mr. Carosi was her dad. And he ran the beach club. It's amazingness.
You're amazing. So, you're amazing.
Anyway,
I'm out of breath here.
So the other thing, when they did the Welcome Amiibo update for the 3DS, there was a couple functionalities. One was if you scanned in Amiibo figures, it gave you items that you could do.
Okay.
Also, if you scanned in Link, it would give you Epona. He would come to town. So an animal that was a horse named Epona showed up.
I didn't know that.
This is even better. If you scanned in Ganon, a pig showed up named Ganon.
I love it.
If you scanned in the Squid Sisters, an octopus showed up, and his house was decorated like Splatoon.
This is all in New Leaf?
This was all in New Leaf.
I had no... Okay, well, Lincoln is playing it like right now.
Yeah, man.
You know what, though? He's playing on the original 3DS. We would need that adapter. Like, he's playing on Chelsea's Animal Crossing 3DS, so there's no... We actually need the new 3DS.
Yeah, but you have the don't you have the one?
We never got the adapter. We just have the
faceplates.
The faceplate. Yeah. On the new 3DS.
Yeah, you scan it on the bottom screen.
Yeah, I just have to play it on my 3DS.
Yeah.
Lincoln is playing it on the original, like the Animal Crossing.
You could steal it, scan it in, and do it. The other thing they did was they opened up an RV park in Welcome Amiibo, and then they had these RV Amiibo cards that you scanned in, and those villagers that you scanned in would show up in the RV park, and then what you could do is you could go in there and buy the items in their RV, because that was what the RVs were. The RVs would come, you could buy, it was like a shopping thing. The final thing that the Amiibo cards allowed you to do was you could actually scan in your favorite villager.
Yep.
And they would move into town.
Do you mean like you'd have to identify them as your favorite, or just like
whoever? Like I got one here, right?
So
I have I just happen to bring a card with me because I need to bring this up. But like I got Julian here, right? And Julian's a very popular card. Yeah. So he's a unicorn. He's a blue horse unicorn. You could I could scan him in, and then I could literally he would show up at the tent or your campsite, and then you go talk to him and he'd be like, "Hey, move in," and he'd be like, "Okay." And then the nice thing about this update was you could only have so many animals on your island.
Right.
Well, if your island was full, he would say, like, I'd love to move in, but your island's full. I could ask Isabel to ask this person to move out if you want. And then you go, yes. And then they would give you a choice of which animals you wanted to kick off the island. Kind of like Survivor. It was amazing. And then you could kick an animal off, and then they would move in. So in this version, only thing we know for sure is Photopia. We know that Photopia is an island where you could go and you could scan in cards and mannequins kind of pop in. You could take pictures with these different characters. That's one. Two is you can also scan them in and they show up in your campsite. We're assuming we can then invite them to move into the town if we want them to. So right now it's kind of great because this card right here, Sean, this Julian card is valued on eBay at $45.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And you just bring it, just like walking around with it in this damn coffee shop? You could lose it, you could drop it, could fall out of your pocket. Very risky.
I got like 3. I'm good.
You have 3 $45 Animal Crossing cards? Yeah. What is it about, man? Like collecting cards is just so it's timeless, dude.
Oh, it is.
Like I love it. Like we talk about the functionality of it all, but like in the end, it's just like this great physical collection of something that you love, and there's something great and satisfying about filling a binder, and you're like, I got every square filled or whatever. Like, are they numbered or anything? Like, what you're numbered. Missing and everything. Oh, dude, I love that. How much are they? Expensive?
Well, they were $6 a pack. They were $6. Now they're going for more than that.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's ridiculous now because Nintendo hasn't said if they're going to rebrand them or whatever or publish them. I saw this thing. This is pretty cool. Miyamoto was doing an interview. With
with
Fatsuma.
He's doing a bunch.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch lately, right? But this particular interview, he was doing with Fatsamu, whatever.
I don't know how to say it either.
I don't know how to say it either.
Nobody knows how. Everybody
whatever.
Thinks they do. They're saying it wrong.
The magazine that starts with an F. That actually they sell magazines in Japan. But he said Nintendo has actually gone to great lengths to shed the image of being a childish brand.
Right.
And the company made great effort to shed the unwanted perception of it and become more of a family. Because during the Wii U era, they felt it was more family friendly, and they've been actually making a concerted effort to shed that. But the final piece to it is he thinks that the future of Nintendo is outside the box, meaning outside the console.
It has to be.
Absolutely, and that's why. And I really think because he's a liaison for this whole Universal thing. Like, he's been working with Nintendo and Universal to create this world, and I think as he sees what it is, he's going, oh my god, this is unbelievable. But like, I really do believe that he's not talking out of turn when he says that, like, we're not really a childish brand anymore. Like, I felt like going into the Switch, yes, but like, man, they've really changed. All their commercials seem to be very adult oriented. We even said that in the very beginning, if you remember. Like, everything was geared around millennials and a younger generation, and then it just seems like it's never stopped. Like, if you watch the PR that's come out of Nintendo from the original Switch commercial, it's never changed. it's always been like, hey, we want to go with a more mature, because I think they finally woke up and realized that, like, hey, the reason why Sony's kicking our butts is because they're catering to the millennial, but also like the late teens, early 20s, that all the kids, I want to be like my big brother. I want to have a console like my big brother. And then they buy that console. And Sony was literally like ripping the kids out of Nintendo's hands to some degree. And I think that is pretty awesome to see, because I believe they have been able to shift and transition.
Well, I think that, like, kind of what he was talking about too was the shift just from childish to family, and it's kind of like the idea of Saturday morning cartoons versus like Disney and Pixar, which stretch the entire, like, bring the whole family. Like, the whole family doesn't get together to watch Saturday morning cartoons.
No.
Those are for kids, and that's the childish part, and that's kind of where Nintendo was, like, way back in the day, where it's just like all the games are for like 3 to 7, and that's kind of it. And then people just kind of like aged out of it. Now the games are for like 3 through 7 and beyond, all the way up to like moms and dads. And that's where like that family friendly kind of thing goes along, where I think what he was saying was like he just wanted to make sure that when you buy a Nintendo product, like families can be assured, or parents can be assured that like everything's going to be fine. That you can just be super comfortable with whatever. And you definitely see that come through in the more frustrating parts of game accessibility, and like a lot of what we've talked about on this, like whenever we come here, it kind of shines through on like they're so focused on the family friendly stuff that sometimes it can get away in the way of more like gamer centric stuff when they're family centric. And that's a concern. That's a differentiation between Nintendo and Sony and Xbox as well, which is nice, but it's not. I didn't take that as like they're giving out like mature games. I don't expect them to really have like a Doom like a first party kind of game. We'll have Metroid and maybe Zelda. And we've kind of talked about that before. Like what rounds out the portfolio. But certainly like there has been a focus of families should buy this game, and it works out in their benefit because now we have 4 Switches in this household. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where they end up.
It's unbelievable to see what's happening here. And the funny thing is like, I remember when this all first started, and we were just like, the first thought was like, only one will be in the house. And then they started talking about, we want multiple Switches to be in houses. And it seems like that's the way it is now. Now people just, there's a multitude of them. We're talking.
Well, even the design of the Switch, like the look of the Switch is cool. Like the 3DS, I'll never forget the first time I ever brought my 3DS out and played it with, there's only one of my real life friends who plays 3DS. Everybody else is like Xbox and whatever else. So I brought it out. I was playing. I was playing Animal Crossing with my friend Rob. He loves it. He was the only one of my friends who still has a Virtual Boy. You can play it in his house if you want. And I'll never forget. I busted out my 3DS, and my one buddy, his name's Gary. He goes, "What are you, 5 years old?" And I'm like, I guess there's something about the 3DS. It just like screams child, right? Like, but the Switch does not. No. The Switch absolutely does not. It looks cool. It looks like a sophisticated piece of tech, and I think that's a good kind of differentiation between childish versus family friendly, which is what Miyamoto's getting at there.
I think the coolest thing that Nintendo has embraced is Mario Day, and which is March 10th. And the funny thing is like when it first started, it was like, I remember it was during the Wii U era, and people started bringing it up, and then like Nintendo really wasn't talking about it. And then like the first year, it was this big thing that people were like just spreading on social media, and it felt like
how have we not realized this before? This March 10.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And then next thing you know, like Nintendo really embraced it. And I saw an ad for Target, and they're having a huge like sale on Switch games.
Oh, really?
Mario Day. Yeah, it's going from the 10th. Actually, I think from the 9th to the to like a week long.
Sure.
But you're looking at like Super Mario Maker 2 for $39.
Get out.
Yeah, Super Mario Party for $39.
See, this is the thing. I have all these games because they're not supposed to go on sale ever.
Yeah. Mario and Sonic Go to the Olympics, $39.
Ooh, that might be one I get.
That's a big one. You got to get that because those things always go up in value. Yoshi's Crafted World, $39. Mario Kart. Yeah, Mario Kart 8. They're not giving away. Or they're not giving a discount on the game, but if you buy the game, you're getting the free wheel, the driver wheel.
My God, that game is so old, and they won't fudge on it. You're gonna get You know what though? I kind of want a wheel though. I kind of do. Like, and we had a bunch of them back in the Wii days.
I know,
we had everything. I got a giant Tupperware thing full of all the attachments and everything for the Wii still here. But Lincoln would love that because of all the like auto control and everything, like auto drive and steer and everything. But if he's got a little wheel, oh, he would love it. Man, I don't need to buy a game for that.
I would love. I have it. I haven't set it up yet. I would love to do the VR, the Labo kit. Driving with the pedal and stuff in Mario Kart, that would be kind of cool.
That's sweet.
That would be kind of cool.
Is the Labo a thing that they're going to keep doing?
Yeah, I think it's done. I think it's
done.
Yeah, I believe it. It would shock me if something else comes out, to be honest with you. I think their last-ditch effort was the VR, and I don't think that did well at all. You know?
Yeah.
I was listening to, I believe it was Nintendo Dads, and Gary Gray brought it up, and he was like, man, I want a more powerful Switch, the tablet section that can run VR properly, and then give me a head mount and let me start playing some games in VR, because that's where he believes the accessibility will go. I mean, Labo was cool, and I like what they tried to do and the attempt they tried to make, because that I've always said, like, the crazy Nintendo is what I love. Yeah, just giving a shot and trying stuff. So they did. They gave it a shot. It didn't work out. Didn't pan out. And it's whatever. So I personally would love what Gary's saying. Like, I think then it would be, because I got sick immediately playing on this one, and I knew I would, but I was like, I just want to try it to see what it is. Remember when Toby and I did that podcast called the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast?
I remember it well.
And and it was based around the console, right? It was based around the console, the Nintendo PlayStation console. You know, that thing sold for $360,000 this week.
I did see that. I don't know what I expected it to go for, but I don't know. Does that seem low to you? Like, it's like,
I thought it was going to be close. I thought it was going to go closer to 500. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, 360 is not that far off if you really think about it. But the funny thing is, the owner of Pets.com, the original owner of Pets.com, is the one that won it. His name's Greg McLemore. Greg McLemore. Man, I can say that easy, can't I? And he founded Pets.com and Toys.com during the .com boom. And
no way.
Yeah, and he did his thing. But the funny thing is, he actually outbid Oculus VR founder Palmer Luckey.
Really?
Yes, Palmer Luckey was going for it. And the funny thing is, Palmer Luckey actually tweeted and was like, "Who's the other people bidding this thing up?" And
because he was anonymous. It was anonymous for a while there. It was just revealed. I saw. But so just one of a kind. Like, but I mean, you can't play anything on it. But not you ever buy these things to be playing anything on it. But
that's not true. That's not true. If I'm not mistaken, they were able to. There was a couple of guys that were actually able to get it running, and I believe it played a demo disc from Sony. There was a Sony PlayStation demo disc that they put out, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it played Super Nintendo carts, certain ones, or Famicom carts, or whatever. But you needed a cart to activate it, because when this thing first got found, now I don't know if this is an additional one or if this was the one that got found a few years ago. But they actually took it to this company, and they actually got it up and working. Yeah. So I think that was the other reason why it was probably going for so much money, was because it was actually a workable console. So but I mean, it's not going to play your entire library, I don't believe. So
what collection do you already have that you're like, you know what's missing? The Nintendo PlayStation. Like, I gotta slot that thing in there.
I know, right? Like, what are you collecting at that point? Like,
what do you already have?
I mean, it says video game collector. You know, but I've listened to NBC a while back, and there was a guy that actually did big collections and spent a lot of money on certain things.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah, and there was some stuff that he went after, like special edition DSs that were only like given out during events, like at the Pokemon World Championships. They would give the winner like a special DS and trophies that were only given during special, and that was stuff that he would go after. Yeah, and he was explaining, like, this is what you got to do, and this is how it works, and this is how you get it, and it's like, oh my god, man, this is unbelievable to hear this. So it's pretty cool.
You know what else is unbelievable, Bobby? E3 is like on life support, dude. Oh. It seems like it's just like any day now. I don't want to jinx or anything, and I actually don't want to encourage it to happen, but it's like LA's under state of emergency. Who the hell knows what's going on there? But Gamescom in Germany is they just released a whole list of people and publishers and developers and everybody who's like exhibitors who are going. Nintendo's going to be there. They're one of the first. Yeah. And it's like, it seems like, I don't think Nintendo was even one of the first to sign up at E3. I think they confirmed later on.
No, they were. It was that list actually that got published.
Just didn't include them.
Didn't include them, but they were there.
Well, I wondered if you, like, how do you read into this? Like, does Gamescom, like, take over as the pinnacle, the event that can be, like, video games' spotlight or their Christmas? Like, is that even a possibility? And if so, like, what do you want from Nintendo at a Gamescom? Because we've never really paid it, like, it's always been so bonus because it's after E3. We kind of go like, oh, and there's maybe some cool things that we might be able to expect from Gamescom. Typically,
Gamescom has always been where they always do an indies thing, but they actually call it like indie showcase. They call it something different. They don't call it like the Nindies like they do here. And then typically a day or two later, we get an Indies event here in the United States. I mean, look, it's a much bigger convention than anything we've ever seen in the United States.
Right.
I think there's like hundreds of thousands of people that go every year. It's massive. Look at right now, man, with all the conventions, I don't know what the heck is going on.
Right.
Like, I really think that they just canceled GDC, or they pushed it back to later in the summer. I think E3 falls the same way. Like, I don't see for a second. These people are acting like it's the world is coming to an end. And I understand you got to take precautions and such, but like, we literally just had PAX. And you don't hear anything bad coming out of that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And it's like, this is pretty a big thing. Like, E3 is bigger than PAX, you know, in terms of like the eyes that go on it and stuff.
Well, Gamescom is, as you talked about, like, is 3 times bigger than 4. I don't even know. Yeah. Way bigger than E3.
But the thing that doesn't happen, and I think the thing that needs to happen in order for Gamescom to take over, is for the different game companies to turn around and go, okay, we are going to start showcasing and doing press conferences here. Because that's what E3 is about.
See. Yeah, you're right.
E3, this is the thing that it blows me away when I listen to people. Like, I was listening to Colin Moriarty on PSVG's podcast, the PlayStation Experience. And when I listen to him, I'm just like, man, it's almost like people just don't get what E3 is about. Like, yes, it's about like going to the convention and doing stuff, but the biggest thing is, it was the only time of the year that all 3 big game companies would show up and do a press conference. And it was like not even just all 3. You would have like 3 or 4 days in a row of just press conference. Like 2-3 press conferences in a day. You get EA and Activision and Ubisoft, and then you would get like Xbox and PlayStation on the same day, and then you would get Nintendo to finish and finalize just before the convention opened its doors. And that's the part that people are missing. And I don't think people are, like, nobody's talking about that. It's all about like, oh, this guy's not going and this one's not going and the convention's going to be empty. And it's like, dude, the convention, let's be straightforward and honest. The convention has never been for fans. The convention is for media and stores that are trying. It was where companies went to go sell their year. You know, go sell their year to these outlets. It wasn't until the past couple of years that it became about fans. So, and when they opened it up to the fans, the media started crying about it. I mean, let's be fair. You know, like, I remember when they opened it up, IGN was screaming and crying the whole time. Yeah. Like, now it's revisionist history. That's what everything becomes. Like, oh, it's dying because they're not getting enough fans and they're not doing this. No, it's dying because you guys were so late to the party. And you guys have all started to turn a blind eye to it and backed away from it. I just think that this coronavirus it could be the nail in the coffin for E3.
Yeah.
Because I think if they skip
it's the worst timing for it, right?
It is the worst timing for it. And I think because if they skip this E3 or they delay it, it's done. It's done. Like, I don't see them coming back at that point. Like,
well, and even you saw, like, with Nintendo at PAX, they basically had, like, an E3 setup. If you saw it, like, the pictures,
it was just like
amazing.
Yeah.
And it was basically like Animal Crossing Land. Yeah. Like, just descended upon PAX. And that's the magic that Nintendo's always brought to E3, and that's the thing that sort of like gets out of, even if you're not there, you're still able to see and experience it. Yeah. So like how do they match that? Because usually, and for Nintendo specifically, like E3 has been like, this is our game. Like, it's actually like, of all the companies, it might be most important for Nintendo in that way. Yeah. Because they've always spotlighted, or at least probably in the Switch era, maybe 1 year before that, it's always been about the game that you care about the most. Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up a little bit, because in just a couple of days here, we're going to get the game that we all care about right now. Yeah. But then what? Like, we have really no idea and I don't mean to be the guy who's like, okay, you gave me my thing, like, what's next? Because I just saw a thread about, like, that's how, like, that's a lot of entitlement. But, like, it's not really too much to say or to ask, what are we going to be getting this Christmas? Because we don't know at this point.
Yeah, E3 will be the time, but
that doesn't happen.
But the thing is I think Nintendo will treat it just like anything else.
They'll just do air their direct.
They'll just air their direct on that day, and it is what it is, and we'll go from there. But anyway, listen,
I can't wait.
Tell Joe I said hi. And
no, I'm not meeting him today. We screwed up with the time zone thing, the daylight savings and stuff. So he messaged me before, and he's like, I don't know what.
I was just saying, let's leave a letter on the table, and maybe he'll see it later.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens, because I'm pretty pissed at him. Like, we talked about it. Talked about the time zone.
What are you gonna do? All right, man.
All right. Well, anyway,
I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Right,
peace out.
Thank you for listening to A Cuppa Joe Nintendo, a production of the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. If you like the show, you can support them at patreon.com/YouMeCapri. A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all of your other podcast services. Be sure to follow Bobby at Nintendo Gurus on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. For everything that Sean does on the internet, follow him on Twitter at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Also, twitch.tv Sean Capri. That is all. Peace out, Preston.